Hello and welcome to NBA Talk with Jordan Valdez. First things first, let's get to today's matchups. And our first matchup is Tyson Chandler versus Nene Hilario. Now, this is an interesting matchup. Last year, obviously, in the free agency, you had LeBron, you had Amari, you had Carlos Boozer, you had Dwayne Wade, you had Chris Bosh. This year, really the two biggest names in the free agency are Tyson Chandler and Nene Hilario, especially when it comes to big men. And although Tyson Chandler has already said, obviously he can't re-sign with them yet because of the lockout, but he has already said that he wants to re-sign with the Dallas Mavericks because they want to keep that core together so that they can maybe win another championship. They're trying not to change anything. Um, Tyson Chandler, he's the starting center for the Mavericks during the championship run. He's a very, very good post player, great defender, great shot blocker. He really has struggled in the NBA for a while, but this is the year when he really stepped it up. Nene has been starting center. Is the starting center for the Denver Nuggets even throughout. He stayed the starting center even after they traded for another center, Timofey Mozgov, who came there. And then everything got mixed up with the Carmelo trade. Denver actually pretty much got a good that ended up being pretty good for them, trading away Carmelo. But Nene is really the star of that team right now, so they could really use him. But then there's a lot of teams that need good centers. Just to name a few, the Spurs, the Hawks, even the Celtics. Those are teams that need a good, strong center, and he could be a good option for them. I'm going to give this matchup to Tyson Chandler, though. I think he's a better player. I think that since he's already committed to the Mavericks, I think that it's going to be better to use your to go after Nene. But I think that Tyson Chandler is the better player, so I'm going to give a matchup to him. Our next matchup is Serge Ibaka versus Anderson Varejao. Serge Ibaka is the starting power forward for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Anderson Varejao is the starting center for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He can also play power forward. Serge Ibaka can also play center. Now, Anderson Varejao 2 years ago was in the same position that Serge Ibaka is this year. When 2 years ago in Cleveland, Andy Varejao kind of was sometimes a starting center, sometimes Arturas Ilgauskas was, and then Anderson Varejao would start at power forward. Then they traded for Antawn Jamison, and then Anderson Varejao moved to center and moved Ilgauskas out of the starting lineup. So Anderson Varejao is another player that kind of got the starting position due to a trade. So in a sense, I mean, it was a little bit more confusing with Andy Varejao than it is with Serge Ibaka. With Serge Ibaka, he was coming off the bench, but then when Jeff Green, who was starting at power forward, was traded to the Celtics, Serge Ibaka got the starting position from Scott Brooks, and so now he starts at power forward, and he's a good player. He's a good He's supposed to be a good defender. Usually, that's what he's expected to do. But he can also score in the paint. What he did really poorly was he didn't defend Dirk Nowitzki in the Western Conference Finals as well as he probably should have, as well as Scott Brooks and the rest of the Thunder team probably wanted him to. I'm going to give this match to Serge Ibaka. I think he's the better player. He's younger, more athletic. But Anderson Varejao is very good too. But Serge Ibaka gets that matchup. Now let's talk NBA headlines. The Texas Legends of the NBA D-League hired former NBA Coach of the Year Del Harris to replace Nancy Lieberman as their head coach. Lieberman will remain with the team, but she's the assistant general manager now because she didn't want to have to do as much traveling as she does head coach because her son is in his senior year of high school, so she wanted to stay at home. So, yeah. Thank you for watching NBA Talk with Jordan Valdez, and I'll see you next time.